Uber is 5 minutes away. It was $36. I waited for a minute and then it went down to 30. And that is to the employee lot. If I wanted to go to LAX all the way to the terminal, it was gonna be like 40 bucks. Then I hop on the employee bus and save 10 bucks. And then I'm gonna have to race to the plane, pray that everything works out. It's not a joke, I have to go to work. This is gonna be a day. I've made it to the employee shuttle. I'm so tired. I'm at LAX. I'm gonna do a Delta LAX to JFK. Really falling apart today. My phone's dying. My phone is dead. I just bought Starbucks and I had to reload my Starbucks for $25. I spent now 50 bucks and I've done nothing. The only reason I wanted Starbucks is because I'm starving. This is a 5-hour flight and I'm gonna freaking Biscoff cookies and I'm like falling apart, so I felt like I had to do it. Usually what I try to do is make a coffee in the crew lounge, but that's in another terminal, so since I'm taking Delta, don't really have a choice. Thought I'd be saving money on this trip. I just went to Shake Shack. I have the receipt in my hand. I spent $11.27 with my airport employee discount. I don't know exactly how much the discount was, to be honest, because it changes everywhere. Originally $12.94 and I got $2.59 off. Would have got the discount at the Starbucks in LAX, but I totally forgot I mobile ordered, and when you mobile order, you can't get the discount. My brain is so wired when it comes to Starbucks to mobile order. I just did it out of habit. A little bit before an hour before my show time, so whatever time we need to be at the airport is actually the time that we need to be at the gate. I'm working with someone I've worked with before. She's really sweet and just loving, so happy to be working with her. It's on the small plane, so it's just the two of us. I don't work on this plane that often because the amount of bags I bring to work can't fit on that plane, and you should see me. I just ordered a brand new backpack, and that one is going to be super nice. It's from Portland Gear, a local business in Portland that I love. And yeah, definitely need a new one. The zipper here is destroyed. This hotel's weird. Look at these chains. This is like an old service knob. This is so crazy. You don't see that anymore in hotels. We had one little delay. I think we still were on time even. Basically today I spent 80. I probably spent like $200 and only got paid like 30 bucks because the flight is less than an hour. I spent probably just as much money getting to work in terms of Ubering. I probably got paid the price of the Uber. You get paid a little bit more for being the lead flight attendant. You get a raise. I don't know when that went into effect, but there's a lot of good things happening in terms of money, but it's still, when you think of, I usually don't do flights like this. This whole trip is only worth 10 hours and it's 3 days because we have a 30-hour layover here. I love long layovers. You get to enjoy the city. The only problem with it is you can't make any money while you're away from work. For being at work, you get $2 an hour. Even though right now, like every hour I'm here, even if I go to bed, I'm gonna be making $2 an hour because I'm on a work trip. However, you can't actually work a flight where you can get your 25, 30 bucks an hour, whatever you're making. We are going to breakfast. Do you wanna say hi? Hi. Eden's driving in her car. So these are my two friends. So that's the cool thing about being a flight attendant. You get to use your layovers to go see people. Tanisha and Eden were actually very shocked. Right now I am doing flight attendant homework. People, I don't think anyone in the general public knows that we get homework, but I try to always do this on board the plane. It's the same, There's real corn, and I'm wearing white Converses. This is really something.
Well, you're doing good with just getting it on the bottom.
I agree. I'm actually doing a good job. We are definitely lost. I wouldn't be able to tell you how to get back. Thank you guys for crashing my layover. Oh. I know, literally, I fucked this. This is the same airport that I went to college. I would go to college using this airport. So I get to work out of here now. It's the craziest dream. Back on the plane this morning. We're going to New York. We work a flight to Chicago and then we work back to New York. All this time is unpaid that we are sitting here doing our checks and all the important stuff that needs to get done. But we are required to be here. It's important to be here. Just chilling here in New York. We are unpaid in between flights.
They're not doing it for the pay. Let's just say that they're not being flight attendants for the pay. They have side hustles. That's where they're making most of their money from, because when you first start flying, like when you first become a flight attendant, you're going to be on reserve, and there's going to be times where you're flying a lot and you're making good money, and there's going to be times where you're just sitting.
A flight from the East Coast to Arizona. And then I realized that we had a 2-hour and 30-minute sit in Arizona, which sits are completely unpaid. Believe it or not, this is a pretty short sit. Sometimes they can go all day long depending on if there's weather or mechanical issues with the aircraft.
These unpaid moments, coupled with overall pay and the toll that this job can take on a person, believe me, I know, are why you've started to see my colleagues across the industry speak up.
At live to Tampa International Airport, where flight attendants are picketing today, demanding what they call a fair contract.
Now, these flight attendants say they want to send a message to United.
26,000 American Airlines flight attendants across the country are demanding improvements to pay, onboard staffing, and quality of life.
Deadline to come to an agreement is November 17th. Now, if demands aren't met, 26,000 flight attendants could walk off the job.
Federal law makes it difficult for airline unions to conduct legal strikes. American Airlines released a statement saying, in part, we're proud of the progress we've made in negotiations with the APFA.
So the union says after almost 5 years of talks, including 6 months under mediation, it is still far apart from the Fort Worth-based carrier on some key issues. So to be very clear here, this is not a strike, but it is a step towards a possible strike.
Federal mediators have rejected a union request that could have cleared the way for a year-end strike by flight attendants at American Airlines. The National Mediation Board instead directed the airline and the Association of Professional Flight Attendants to keep negotiating over a new contract.
I sat down with Michelle, a flight attendant who I've actually flown with before. She makes content about the pay.
Now that I'm working where I work now, the pay is a lot better, but it's still first year pay and it only gets better from there. 3 or 4 years at my airline, you could make 6 figures, but if you work at maybe my first airline, SkyWest, you have to top out to even get to 6 figures.
Can you talk about some of those moments when we're not being paid?
There's only 2 airlines that get paid for boarding, that's SkyWest and Delta. Pre-departure drinks, you're putting up bags. You got people coming to the back, hey, can I have a water for my pill? You know, you've got, you're not even getting paid when you step on airport property. Some airlines, depending on their contract, you might not get paid for having a flight canceled. You might have to work into your day off, and sometimes you're not really well compensated for that.
What are people saying when you make these videos? When
I say I work 110 hours a month, people who've never been in the aviation industry are like, that's not a lot. When it really is. They think flying high is going to be the way to go, and then they burn themselves out and they start hating the job. So it's just like a domino effect at the end because they need to catch up and make money.
I remember even one video where you talked about like you couldn't even afford to get to work.
I'm sitting here thinking my paycheck is going to be fat, like it's going to be fine. And then the paycheck rolls around and it's a $700 paycheck. And I'm like, I made more when I worked at SeaWorld. I have to wait until I'm like 3 or 4 years in to see a comma in my check brought the morale down for me personally with that job. And like it really made me hate being a flight attendant. Like it made me want to quit so bad. I couldn't even use my benefits or anything like that. So it's like, why am I here? I just didn't think that SkyWest was the end for me. I saw so many people on YouTube and TikTok how great their life was, and I wanted to travel so bad. It was like there was nothing left to lose. So it was like, let's just go all in. I got out of SkyWest and I moved to JetBlue. The paycheck wasn't necessarily better, but the people made it fantastic. I was actually excited. So it like lit a fire under my ass to like see the beauty in the job and like work with more people who looked like me, people who had similar stories. And now that I'm at a bigger airline, it's still an adjustment period, but I'm starting to really enjoy the job again because I'm able to travel and use my benefits and like help my parents, and I'm able to pay my rent and not have to like freak out about it.
And I'm going to give these flight attendants a lot of credit because let me tell you something, man. People fly all the time. You see these people working hard, but I didn't know that they weren't getting paid while the plane. I didn't know that.
I want you to see this jet bridge. This is insane. Spent more money. I didn't mean to. Genuinely needed it. I have to do one more flight that's 2 hours and I need it. Like I know I literally am so exhausted. I do this, but I also do this. Being content, journalism, stories. It takes so much work that, and if I spent the whole day with my friends, I had to stay up all night to do work. Plan initially was to go to the crew lounge and get coffee for free in New York, but we didn't have time in between flights. So I had to fly to Chicago where we don't have a crew lounge, and then I had to pay for coffee. At least I still have cheesecake. One more flight, and then we're done. I'm gonna stay with family in Brooklyn and then work a flight tomorrow. People bring gifts for flight attendants. It is one of the sweetest things. I always try to write a card for whoever does it because it does genuinely mean a lot to me. I do write cards to customers at my airline. I have the ability to do that, and it is the dreamiest thing. It's one of my favorite parts of the role is being able to make someone's day. And when y'all make my day on board the plane, I kind of lose it. This is actually from a crew member. She was flying as a customer. Her mom, I think her sister, they were like, oh, let's bring something for the crew. So sweet. You don't have to do that. There was a day when I was new, I didn't know. I booked myself for these flights. West Coast to East Coast the night before. Landed like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. And then at 5 p.m., I have to be back at the airport to fly back across the country again, working all these flights. That means you have 12 hours to get from the airport to home, to eat, to sleep, to shower, to get ready, to do it all over again. You can't get food in the air, right? Like, so there was a day where I literally, I'm not kidding, I had that situation and I didn't get to get food. And it was awful. It turned into a really bad moment, right, for me personally. In a plane, you can't be like, hey boss, could I just run across the street real quick? I just need a snack. Like, you know what I mean? Of course we have snacks on the plane, but if you need to get something more substantial, you could Uber Eats to your job now and not even leave. You can't do that as a flight attendant. So we don't have any of those capabilities that people have in normal jobs. It means so much when people do this. Thank you. This is so sweet. It's just chocolate dip cookies, hand sanitizer. Planes are absolutely gross. She also bought me a lint roller, travel size. Dun dun dun, dun dun dun. This is so exciting. Thank you for helping us get to our destination safely. Here's something from us. And it's like the first holiday card I'm getting. So cool. Okay. So the reason she gave me $1, you get off work, you're out for work. We get off work, we need to get to the hotel. My understanding is that the airlines already tip van drivers. This $1 is for the van driver. I'm not perfect, I don't always do it. I, 90% of the time though, do tip my Uber drivers, like personal Ubers that I order. But again, those people aren't being tipped. When it comes to van rides, my work sets this up for me and my work tips them. From what I understand, my airline has never told me we tip the van drivers. It's just my understanding from crews that have been here for years that the airline tips them. I was like, today I tipped, the other day I tipped. It becomes another bill in a way. When you think about the amount of vans we take twice per layover, honestly feel a lot of pressure to tip. Your whole crew is watching you. I've had moments with van drivers where I've tipped, someone else on the crew hasn't, and the crew has been literally harassed for $1. I'm not kidding. That incident was reported. Heard of other instances where crew haven't been treated right for not paying the van driver $1. I understand the importance of tipping. I really, really do. I know people that, have told me that they made their life off tips, right? I have a friend who her husband was a cab driver in New York for many years before when cabs were a thing. And so I get it. So that's why she gave me this, so that I wouldn't have to do that. So that she gave us all that so that we could give it to the van driver. So I tipped today, but I got it back. And then she gave us $5 gift card. Tipping has gotten crazy all over. I wind up tipping everybody $1 everywhere I go. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It's not the tipping that's bad. It's feeling pressure to tip, even though you might be suffering financially. Sometimes the van driver is so cool, will give you tips in the city. And I'm like, of course you're getting $1. But then there's other times when I freaking lift my bag into the van. And then, like, why am I giving you $1? I'd rather give the people that I really want to tip, like $5 tips, than to be giving everybody 50 cents, $1 here and there, because everybody's turning iPads around at me. Genuinely, I am so happy to be in Seattle. We landed at 2 p.m. This whole flight, I was literally on fire with happiness. I was working with someone I knew. I had this girl compliment me. She said my skin was glowing. What's my routine? I showed her my Instagram because I was like, I just did a video on my routine. And we followed each other. It was just a fun flight. 5 hours and 30 minutes flew by like this. And because I worked a business class flight, I got to eat the business class food on the plane. There are actually flight attendants that will specifically try to work these flights so that they don't have to buy as much food. It's kind of smart because you spend a lot of money on airport food. Seattle's one of the most expensive cities in the country. A lot of the places that I lay over, you could choose differently, but a lot of the places that I lay over are pretty expensive. It's my favorite coffee shop. So good. It's the end of my Seattle layover. I have a little more than 10 minutes to my van. I thought I'd show you what I got. I got this cool thing from PCC Community Markets, Mela. I'm excited to try this. It's a hydration drink with electrolytes and antioxidants. I also got a soup. It's just a butternut and squash soup. I mixed it with the mushroom soup, and then I also got a fruit salad. I'm super hungry. I haven't had breakfast, so I'm excited to try that. I spent like $20 there, though. This place is really expensive. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's PCC Community Market. I found out about it from Vera. I also got Nolly Pop, cherry vanilla today. TSA took mine the other day. Yesterday, there was this moment. I saw this beautiful sunset. I'm pretty sure that's the Puget Sound. Absolutely stunning. And it made me think, can you really put a price on a job like this? Even though you guys have heard all the things that I go through in this job, that we go through, I got a place to sleep. In Seattle, one of my favorite cities. I would literally watch the local news in Seattle growing up because that's how badly I wanted to be in Seattle. And now I get to come here for free. I get paid to come here. I take the city bus. I literally feel like I know this city in a way. I've done so many layovers here. All the financial struggles still matter, but I just find myself really grateful on layovers like this because fall in Seattle. I remember too, hearing of a flight attendant, I'm pretty sure this probably isn't just him, but a flight attendant who would literally do as many trips as he could, and he didn't have a place that he lived. He would just stay with family randomly in between trips in different cities. He actually made videos, Malives if you heard. This would be his house, like the hotels, the layovers. Because this job is expensive, and especially, you know, my airline at least, our bases are in some of the most expensive cities in the country. If you can crash at a friend's place, look at all the benefits of this job. You can't put a price on seeing a beautiful sunset in Seattle. Like, you know what I mean? You can't put a price on getting to try new foods in cities, getting to try new markets, getting to learn about things. You cannot put a price on that. That's why travel is so special to people around the world, because it is experiences. It's life, right? I think that's what's hard about this. Identity capital. And that is something a lot of people do not have in their life. They don't have travel experiences. I get to visit any city I want all the time and get to get paid while doing it is something I just will never, I get chills because I will never take it for granted. I wanted to do this for my whole childhood. It's a complicated balance of understanding the reality of the financial hardships that flight attendants go through across the industry. And then it's also understanding the beauty of a role that is unlike any other and allows you to grow in so many ways. Over here, so we're waiting right now for our customers to come on the bus. Interesting. It's 2 a.m. I missed my commute home because our flight that we worked was delayed, and it was delayed too, and I still missed it. This is the real cost of being a flight attendant. You are stuck. There's no flights to LA until the morning. But just wanted to show you, this is what it's like at 2 a.m. at the airport. You're literally here with the cleaners and you can't go home. I'm using this time to bid for my December schedule. Do a quick haul, $113.37. I got some bread. The only problem with being a flight attendant is that you are home so little. I got some eggs. If you buy a lot of food, you kind of have to take it with you. And a lot of food doesn't travel well. So you're kind of like bringing as much as you can in your lunchbox. We all have a lunchbox right there. You have to bring food with you, or else you're gonna spend a lot of money on food. These I'm excited for. I've been needing Clorox wipes really badly. I don't have any. I'm needing wet ones for on the plane. I am obsessed with salted caramel cold foam, so I had a feeling maybe it would taste like that. This is turkey bacon. This is my favorite turkey bacon. I've been needing lotion, and I'm trying not to spend money on expensive lotions right now. I also got some CeraVe facial cleanser, French frosted sugar cookie coffee creamer. I really don't like that this has 10% added sugar, but I really am in the mood to make Christmas drinks. Got this Febreze thing, travel size of the CeraVe face wash, Lysol, hand sanitizers. I also got the hot cocoa whipped cream, which I am so excited for this. I can feel it right now. Travel size lotion. If you go to a hotel, it used to be that, like, you know, you were getting lotion in your room, and now it's kind of like a maybe. So that's that. that's my haul. I spent like $5 at the airport for wipes. So I probably spent already 130, 40, 50 bucks. The bag came, so excited to see it. Oh, it's really pretty. Wow. It's from Portland Gear. It's a local brand in Portland. I think it's really cool because as a flight attendant, I get to learn about all these places across the country and to be able to purchase and support smaller businesses that I actually believe in. Now they're probably not that small though. It's pretty expensive. And they're, you know, pretty popular. I feel like their Instagram's popping. But I feel like it's perfect for layovers because I can wear it like this. You have this, which hooks onto my J-hook on my suitcase perfectly, which is like a flight attendant thing. Look at all this space in here. It's almost like a cooler. Wow. So I can put a ton of stuff in here. My laptop, a quality bag. There's space for my water bottle. You know, there's a hole here, like just this whole thing here. I am starving. I took a little nap. I really wish I didn't, but at the same time, it's still like 78 degrees in LA, which means I still have a little bit of time to enjoy the weather before I leave literally tomorrow to go to a wedding in Georgia. I was so tired, I didn't get to really enjoy the day, and that's one thing that, like, with the times that I got in and all that, it just gets very, like, it's just an additional cost, right? Although I'm home today, I'm so drained from flying that it's really like I'm still at work in a way, because I always need pretty much a full day to decompress after work, and I have to fly again tomorrow. I mean, this isn't money, but it is another cost in a way. You basically need a day of decompression after you fly, every single trip. And that is unpaid, of course, because that's just you recovering from work. Genuinely having so much fun. I don't get to go to my local Whole Foods that often, and this is just like a joy. I got this Mountain Valley water. It's only like almost $3. I just got some watermelon, and then pomegranate seeds are my ride or die. These are super expensive, but I love them. So this is what I'm getting. It's like holiday time in the store almost, so it's just a good vibe. I'm really happy actually. I need to go to bed. To the airport. I did not Uber, so I saved a lot of money, and I bought treats for my crew. Basically, this flight, I looked online, $315. I'm going for free, so the least I can do, especially since this is leisure and I'm not going to work or anything, is get some snacks for the crew. So I got them this, I got them, and it's also a red eye, so I feel like when I work red eyes, I just want snacks. Candy cane crunch, some holiday snacks, and let's see what else. Very holiday. I hope they enjoy it. It's American I'm flying, and they're always so sweet to me. So we get to fly for free. So even on other airlines, depending on which airlines your airline that you work for has agreements with. It would be different if you flew private. It would be different if you worked at a smaller airline, or just an airline that didn't have as many agreements. And then I get to go to a wedding and celebrate a friend. Total for this week, $570.19. Now there were some additional charges that y'all didn't see in the video. I got a coffee that I didn't film. I paid subscription charges, rent, all that happened in this week. That made the real total come out to $2,436.49.